Hello and welcome into the Guilty as Charged podcast. We just wrapped up our own episode, but now we're turning things over to the fans. Now, I had asked you guys, hey, what do you want to see this summer? What kind of content do you want to see? And a lot of you guys mentioned that you'd like me to bring fans onto the show. And I appreciate these trio of guys right here because they're the only group that figured out how to both get together and schedule a time. And obviously they showed up. So I appreciate that a lot. I can't wait to dive into these topics. Let's start with Nate. Nate, how are you doing, man?
Not bad. I'm super excited and a little bit nervous to be here, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Austin, how you doing?
Doing good so far. Just got done recording another one, as I told you guys. But yeah, I'm really excited to do this. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, man. And Victor, last but not least, how are you?
Yeah, doing good. Nice, beautiful day. And thank you again for having us on.
Of course, anytime. I really appreciate you guys getting this together. You guys had to do a lot of work on the side just to get here. And then I gave you guys some questions. You did some background research and work. So I really appreciate that. Let's get into it. So the first question I had for you guys today was, who's a player that we're overrating heading into the season and why? And Austin, I'll start with you on this one. No, I'm not saying that we hate this player. We think this player sucks because fans love to overreact.
Not.
But who's someone you think
this is definitely not like me getting to like slander this person. But I think the first person that comes to my mind is Nazir Adderley. I think that I've seen a lot of things that we're putting a lot of trust in him, and that kind of worries me because I feel like when you watch Nazir Adderley and you have Irwin not on the field, he looks lost.
Yeah.
He looks kind of like he's just kind of out there, like the old Patrick Beverly quote, he's just running around, not doing much. But I feel like that's kind of like he scares me a little bit. I think he's great in the box, and I think he, is a great hitter. I feel like those two everyone should agree with that. But I think in coverage, he still has a lot of work to work on, and I think that he scares me a little bit. So I'm definitely not slandering him. I think he's going to be just fine, and I think Brandon Staley being the new coach definitely helps with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope he takes another step forward this year. But Nate and Victor, you can respond to that. But also, do you think Adderley, this is Adderley's last year? Do you think JT Woods is the replacement, or do you think Nazir Adderley is one of the few guys that gets an extra contract from Tom Telesco?
So with one of the things, Nazir Adderley is, if I'm not mistaken, Anthony Lynn's guy, right?
Yeah.
And JT Woods is Brandon Staley's guy. And I think that's going to be one of the things that it comes down to, with Jerry Tillery as well. That's not Brandon Staley's guy. He didn't draft him. So I think that's one of the things, and people coming in like JT Woods, Mark Webb, and I'm not saying those players are going to replace him. Also, you have Bryce Callahan, who also, if I'm not mistaken, worked with Brandon Staley in Denver. So those are Brandon Staley's guys. Nazir Adderley was just kind of here when it happened. And I think if he doesn't take the next step, him and Jerry are gone.
I think one of those players is definitely gone.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see about the safety one.
To me, I'm a big Nazir Adderley truther. I even have that written down in my notes. I love Nazir Adderley. It was one of my first years, trying to scout and understand the development of players and all that. And it was crazy how his range and his ball skills were so prevalent in college. And now you go to the NFL and he's more of a box guy, like you were saying. So it's pretty interesting to see how that completely shifts, and that makes you kind of change your thoughts on how to scout players. But I think probably because I'm just a big fan of his game, I think that he has all the tools to become a really good safety next to Derwin. I remember when we drafted him, he's the perfect safety to place next to Derwin. The free, rangy safety.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Next to Derwin, it's insane. And I hope that he has a great year this year, and we have a really good safety core with JT Woods playing as the third safety as well, because we do like to play a lot of nickel, a lot of dime. So hopefully with Nazir Adderley staying back on a cheap deal would be awesome, but we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same thing. I feel like this year Nazir Adderley is definitely a prove it year. He has to really ball out if he wants to stay with the Chargers or get an extension. Because drafting JT Woods, I feel like Brandon Staley's just bringing in more competition into that safety room. And I feel again, if Nazir Adderley has another mediocre year, he could be the odd man out, and JT Woods comes right in, play right next to Derwin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they prioritize, creating turnovers on defense, and Adderley was so close to so many, but just couldn't quite get them. And I guess at the end of the day, if you aren't getting that production, you might be replaced.
Exactly. The interception he should have had against Terry McLaurin.
Yep.
That was what that play just keeps playing in my head. And it's like I want Nas to be good. I think he was great at
Sure.
like Delaware.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the like really good like project players that Tom Telesco has brought in. Like I think he could be great, but it's just like this is like you said, like a prove it year.
Yeah,
I think other than that, he'll be just fine.
Okay. Nate or Victor, either of you can go. Who's a player we're overrating heading into the season?
All right, so I'll go. To me, is J.C. Jackson. Kind of like Steven,
okay.
where I'm like very. I want to pump the brakes on him a little bit.
Yeah.
So I did a couple. I just want to see some stats. Like I love the idea of him coming in to get more turnovers and get Justin Herbert the ball more. But at the same time, since 2010, the interception season leader averages 4.4 less interceptions than the previous season. So, and these are like, I think this is about like 20 players because some there were ties and stuff. But this is not counting for missed games in 2021 because there's obviously not the season yet.
Sure.
But JC's never led the league in interceptions per se, but if as a certified ball hawk, he should be compared to the best. And his ability to get the hands on the ball, I hope, will continue, but it's just not sustainable, especially with 4.4 less per year. And then if you want to follow other Patriots defenders like Malcolm Butler, he had a good stint with the Patriots. He failed to make a Pro Bowl afterwards, and as well say is like a mainstay starter for the Titans. And then you want to look at another position, you can look at Trey Flowers. After being traded from the Evo Empire, he struggled to stay healthy. So it's hard. It's hard to see the continuance of like ability from JC.
Yeah, I know Arjun talks about, interceptions, turnovers really not being a staple metric. It somehow kind of has been for JC Jackson, but like you mentioned, now he's out of a particular system. There's just this kind of weird feeling and vibe around Patriots players when they leave, where it's kind of the opposite for the Chargers. Like when a player leaves the Chargers, they do really well. The Patriots, when they leave, it's kind of like, I don't know if they can do well. So that's interesting. Something I had noticed with college players, and I was looking at JT Woods, I think the 10 or 12 leading college interception leaders, I think like the last 2 or 3 years of those guys, they had a combined 40 interceptions, but their first year in the NFL, it was like 8 combined. No, that's college to pro. JC's just going from pro to pro. But yeah, I think that's an interesting player to bring up for sure. Victor, what do you think about that? And then who is your most overrated player or player we're overrating?
Yeah, so just to bounce off Nate, I think for JC Jackson, it's definitely going to be a year where we really see if he's like legit or not. Because Staley, back when he used to run the Rams defense, he used to love leaving Ramsey on an island, right? And let everybody else play make or like help have the safeties come help other cornerbacks and stuff. And I'm assuming, I would think that that's what Staley's plan is for JC Jackson, being the best corner in the group. So, yeah, I think that's going to be one of the main focal points for JC Jackson to focus on. And then one of the players I feel like we're overrating this season, I've seen a couple tweets. I think Trey Pipkins like locking down the right tackle spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of people like not hyping him up, but saying like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be the right tackle. Like he's been developed." And like I don't know. That's just based off like 2 games he started last season. I mean, only like I found the stat only 100, and he played 173 offensive snaps last season. Yeah, he didn't allow a sack, allowed no pressures, and only had 1 penalty. But I mean, that's a small sample size because the season before that in 2020, on 571 offensive snaps, he allowed 5 sacks, committed 4 penalties, and had multiple pressures allowed, as like all Charger fans know. So yeah, I'm not too like locked in on our right tackle position. People think, I don't know, I've been seeing like, oh, Trey Pipkins, like they think he's developed. I'm not too sold on him yet.
Yeah, I've seen like a bunch of people like just get really hyped about Trey Pipkins just because he's like working out with Slater, I believe, and just like that I don't know. Let's slow down on that one. Yeah, I'm not sold on anyone at right tackle.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible that he wins right tackle job. Like, I guess that's part of the hype. But I definitely do struggle with the fandom sometimes when it comes to Pipkins because they're like, well, have faith in Trey Pipkins. But to me, it's like, I can have faith or I can buy anything as long as there's a reason for me to really buy into it, or even just like a stat that kind of, makes me feel better about something. And Pipkins, yeah, he had those 2 starts, but, Stevens talked about the film and how much he had to be helped during those games, which is fine. Like they might have to do that again this year too. And maybe it works out, but I don't know. I'm certainly worried about it. I know it's not like a completely solidified position yet. There's still some things they could do, but yeah, we are kind of overrating Pipkins. But I'd love to be surprised.
I have a question.
Another thing. Oh, sorry.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, so
you got rock paper scissors. you got it.
Okay, so I was back to piggy off back of Trey Pipkins. I think that a lot of what we're gonna do, as Isaiah Spiller's a great pass blocker, and I think maybe what we could do is like what we were talking about, just helping him out. Is that Isaiah Spiller's gonna give him a great just like second push, and I think if he's gonna face like a really good edge rusher, I mean that scares me anyways. Trey Pipkins against a really good edge rusher, but
yeah,
like Isaiah Spiller's a great pass blocker. He was great at
Texas A&M.
But yeah, he's gonna give him a great chip, and I think that's definitely gonna help. But I also wonder if we're gonna trade. Like I've seen a lot of rumors for trade for a right tackle, and I don't think that's gonna happen. But just like different options there.
it's definitely possible. I know Maddie, who does Maddie's Minute and talks about some short segment stuff, talk about Mekhi Becton. I don't know if the Chargers would do that at this point, but if he's expendable, I suppose it couldn't be worse as long as the medicals check out.
So what I was gonna ask is, what's the chances of Storm Norton beating Trey Pipkins out? What do you guys think?
My god!
Jeez. I mean, honestly,
Storm Norton. I don't even want to talk him.
The chances of him beating out Trey Pipkins should be higher than his odds of not beating him out. I don't know if it's 51-49. I don't know if it's 60-40, but I do think because he started last year, because they basically showed us that they don't trust Pipkins at all. And then so he had like a couple bad stretches as a jumbo tackle. Then they benched him. Yeah. So he wasn't even that anymore. I think they had like Senio Kelemete out there or something.
Oh, let's go.
Which, right. So I do think Norton has the edge right now. I don't know. I almost don't even care. Like, just kick me in the left shin, the right shin.
Just praying.
Yeah, pretty much. What do you guys
Another
think?
thing too is I've seen people talk about Filer, Sailor, and Brandon Imes like moving positions, and I don't know. I've seen like Filer to right tackle thing, and like Sailor like playing guard. And like, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I would love it.
Sure.
To me, I think you have if Zion is your right guard, then I think of Hymas and Salyer, you should battle it out for left guard with those guys and put Filer at right tackle. But I know there's a couple reasons why Filer might not move to right tackle. One of them including that he would like a pay bump if that happens.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable though.
Yeah,
I got $20. I mean, if it helps, I
was like, I just got paid, so I don't know. I'll slip $5. I don't know.
I think that we need like some sort of a mainstay at the left guard position to help Slater out. Like, not that he needs help, but the experience is needed. And with Zion, it could also do the same thing you did for Slater. Filer can go to right tackle and then help him out that way. So that's another like it's a give and a take. But with Storm Norton, I honestly think that other than the really bad games he had, he wasn't like that bad. But we ended off on a very bitter taste in our mouth. So we're gonna continue to belittle him in a sense. But maybe I have a small like piece in my heart for him because of my hair and when I played last year, all my coaches said, "You're kind of built like Storm Norton, but just smaller." I was like, "That's kind of an insult, but I'll take it." I'll take
it. It's kind of mean. But, odd comparison.
That's a very specific comparison. So.
Exactly. They're
all right. Fans, so. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense then. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next topic, and that's what's one thing you'd like to see the Chargers do more of on offense, and how often really did they do that before? Why should they do that more? And then how can they do that? Let's start with Victor on this one.
Yeah, so I was really looking into this. I mean, obviously, I feel like we're going to be a passing offense definitely next season. But I really want to see more of the offense running passes out of 2 tight end sets. And the Chargers ran this set 26% of the time last season. So it was a heavy amount, but only on 292 snaps. And I feel like I want to see more of that, especially with Gerald Everett also coming in, and then Donald Parham, assuming he comes back healthy, which I think he's expected to be. But I found some other crazy stats. About 40% of those snaps were pass plays that they ran out of the 2 tight end sets. So 60% were run. So they didn't really, pass out of that. And the rate of success was actually 56%. So it was over, 50%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they also averaged 7.3 yards per attempt on those pass plays out of the tight end sets. And I feel like, I don't know, running passes out of 2 tight end sets opens up different opportunities, obviously, for the run game one. But also, I feel like you could build a deep ball through there. And then Donald Parham and Gerald Everett just getting an opportunity to ball out, and then Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. I feel I would really like to see something like that.
No, that's a great call. I didn't realize that they were so successful running out of those 2 tight end sets. I know Joe Lombardi wants to do that, but Jared Cook doesn't block. Like, he did not block.
Yeah.
So having someone like Gerald Everett out there, that would be a great. I would really love to see how they transition into that.
Crazy enough, that was like, I was looking for something for this, and that was like my first thing that popped in my head. And I know what website he's using because I remember the exact stats he's using. And I just like, for some reason, my brain shut down. It was like in the middle of the night. I was like, I'm gonna find something else. But I like that so much. Like, 12 personnel sounds great. We need more tight ends. Like, we got to involve Donald Parham more in the offense. It's like number one for me right now. Get the 6'8" guy the ball, and we're gonna be all right. But
yeah, 6'8" runs what? I think it was 4.5.
Yeah, him and Anderson. I thought Anderson was just fine, like, too. I mean, it wasn't like spectacular, but like, I thought like that those like the three main tight ends we had were fine. I think they were solid.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Cook had his moments, obviously, where like it felt like his like controller died or like something. It was like
that's
just like
one way to put it,
like,
for sure.
Those moments like obviously strayed us away from Jared Cook, and I think just Jared being there because of Lombardi, like definitely was like a fit they wanted to make happen.
Yeah,
but I have faith in Everett. He's got fumble issues, but I think he'll fit our offense a little bit better.
Tyler, you brought up a great point that I like. Gerald Everett, he could block, unlike Jared Cook. I feel like that'd be huge if they did like run a little bit more out of the 2 tight end sets. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope they do. All right, Nate, what's your thing you want them to do more of?
Okay, so I want them to run the ball more with Herbert. I know it's a little scary.
Yeah,
because,
that's a good call.
Taking hits is scary, but a hit can happen in the pocket. It can happen while he's throwing the ball, even handing off the ball on a read option or whatever. So to me, as long as he's smart and we don't like keep calling Anthony Lynn style plays, we'll be all right with him running the ball. So he had 63 attempts for 302 yards and 3 touchdowns, converting 28 first downs. So that's nearly on half of his attempts he had a first down on. And 4.8 yards per attempt would be idiotic to continue the lack of usage in this regard. He's a big, powerful runner like Josh Allen. He actually has a better RAS score than Josh Allen and a better 40 time, which is crazy to think about. And because like Josh Allen's like, in my opinion, one of the best runners in the league, if not the best quarterback for that. And the way to fix this would be RPOs, read option, design QB runs, things like that. He only had 1 fumble last year, so the turnover rate is not that high as well. So yeah, I feel like that if we want to move the chains, having Herbert use his legs more would be great.
Was the fumble the one where he threw it 10 yards downfield against Washington?
I think so. Yeah.
Sweet. Love that one. Thanks, Russ.
Yeah, I think Herbert is very underrated as a runner. I think he's one of the better running quarterbacks. I mean, obviously you want to talk about Lamar, Kyler, Josh. I mean, even like Mahomes, I feel like you could even throw into there. I feel like designing more RPOs is like a really good. I mean, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why not?
Him also being 6'6", and imagine
he's big. That's a big boy.
Imagine being a defender, you just see a 6'6" quarterback running full speed at you. That'd be crazy.
I'm good. I don't want that. I'm good.
And he got bigger. It looks like this offseason. He looks huge.
Oh, yeah. He looks massive. He looks like I don't know if you guys saw that picture, like him just standing next to some guy. And he looks huge.
No, he looks. It
looks like he could play some downs for Jerry Tillery sometimes.
Maybe he should. Austin, what's your schematic change?
The first thing I thought of is obviously throw the ball down the field. I feel like everyone can say that, but I feel like one thing that we did this offseason is we are trying to establish our running back too. As we saw last year, even Austin Eckler was like, "Can I get some help?" Yeah. And Larry Roundtree and Joshua Kelly and Justin Jackson were not the answer. Mm-hmm. Justin Jackson, I honestly thought was fine. He was fine as a running back. He just was unfortunately hurt all the time. And I think one thing too is that, Joshua and Larry just they're not the answer. And I think getting Isaiah Spiller, someone who's a power back, great in open space, can make cuts in the open space. I remember this one play against Missouri. He cut back in and then was just one-on-one with the safety and absolutely tore his ankles. And a power back shouldn't be able to do that. Mm-hmm. Isaiah Spiller is not going to take the top off the defense. I feel like that's not what he's here to do. And I feel like once we establish him as like also again running like two back sets maybe, because Austin finally won't have to carry the entire load, and then that could also lead us to stretch the field out more with Austin, because Austin obviously is great with the ball in his hands, like throwing the ball to him. Great receiving back, maybe one of the best in the league. And I think if we have Isaiah there, just like so Austin isn't so like the defense isn't just focusing on him, because I feel like that was one of the issues was it was just Austin, there was no other threat. And I think getting Isaiah Spiller was a great pickup. I think it was one of the better picks we had, and I think he's very dynamic, very explosive, and I'm very excited to watch him play.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't sure when they would take a running back, but that's the earliest round that I would have taken one, and I'm happy with who they took, honestly. And after watching him, I love that you guys all have a common thread that I kind of started noticing when they signed Gerald Everett. But you want more 2 tight end sets. You want Isaiah Spiller to get involved, and he will be, and you want Justin Herbert to run more. The Chargers, because I'm rewatching the games to get a sense of what Keenan and Mike Williams did throughout the year and grading their plays and whatnot. And watching the offense in general struggle with in some instances, it felt like there just was a lacking physicality to the offense. Like, not that Mike Williams isn't like can't be physical, or Austin Eckler can't be physical, but there's like a mean streak, a punch in the face that the Chargers just didn't really have. So you incorporate all those things that you guys talked about, and it really feels like you want that for their offense. I think the Chargers do too. I think the Chargers just want to be a more physical, mean, nasty team when it counts to really close out those games and maybe punch back against someone like Baltimore or the Patriots, who really had their number.
Yeah, and adding Saylor, Zion, Gerald, and Isaiah was definitely one of those things where, like, and obviously Khalil. I can't believe I forgot that. But, that's one of the biggest, like, punchbacks, as you said, big, mean, nasty people up front and, like, off the edge and just, like, in the backfield, especially because Isaiah is going to be a great complement to Austin. Like, you have two, like, not very different running backs, but two, like, different styles, I would say. And that are going to, like, you're going to have to watch that more.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I don't want to keep you guys here for like a full hour, so I'll go to the next topic, which is a kind of debate on the starters on defense. And I didn't really have one particular, duo in mind, or, one particular player in mind, but there are some position battles up for grabs. Could be starting, outside corner number 2, however you see it. Did one of you guys find a particular position battle on defense that you thought that was most interesting to you?
Not exactly. I made a tier list of all the defenders.
Oh,
like it's probably totally off, but I'll copy and paste it in the chat, and then I can read off if you guys would like.
Okay.
Hopefully that copy and paste well enough. Probably not. Sweet. But pretty much I was talking about, like, thank God we have these players on our team, like Derwin James, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. Like, if we didn't, it's the defense isn't really going to do anything. Then I'm happy that we have Sebastian Joseph Day, Asante Samuel, Nazir Adderley. Like I said, I'm a truther for Nazir Adderley. And then we have some positions we can upgrade, like Michael Davis, Austin Johnson, Drew Tranquil. And then for the last starters, we got our favorites, Kenneth Murray and Jerry Tillery. I hope they're mainstays for this team. They're going to be great for us. So that's what I did. But if for position battles, Bryce Callahan, Michael Davis, like nickel snaps, maybe.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm not that outside corner. I'm the only weirdo at this point who still thinks that Michael Davis is going to start on the outs. Like, I don't know why. I feel like Asante Samuel Jr. in the slot, Michael Davis on the outside. I feel like that's your best trio. The Chargers don't feel that way so far. They have Asante Samuel Jr. on the outside, Bryce Callahan at slot, Michael Davis is CB4. So, do any of you guys think Michael Davis is going to be the starter on the outside?
I do. I think so.
I don't think so. I mean, like you said, I feel like the coaching staff is already showing, like, what they're going to do. Asante Samuel on the outside playing him, already in OTAs. So, yeah, I think he's going to win that outside spot. And then I don't know if you move Michael Davis inside, because obviously Bryce Callahan's going to be there, but I don't know if Michael Davis could be the odd man out.
I do think Michael Davis not having to be the one is really going to help. And adding JC and, like, Asante Samuel going into his second year and adding Bryce Callahan is really going to take a lot of pressure off of him. So I feel like that could really help him. I honestly I couldn't give you an answer about who's going to start outside.
Okay.
I think it's really just going to be whoever, just wins it in training camp. And I do think that up front, I feel like it's pretty, set in stone. I mean, I'm interested to see what Morgan Fox is going to do. I wonder if he's going to replace, like all of Tillery's snaps and what that's going to happen. I think Austin Johnson is a really underrated signing. I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, very good in the run stop.
Yes, absolutely.
Area. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we brought here is because, as we all know, the run defense was atrocious. And I feel like, obviously the A-list players are going to take a lot of, weight off the other players. But I think our linebackers like Drew and K9 kind of, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
But obviously they have faith in them. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Victor, who's winning defensive tackle, Morgan Fox or Jerry Tillery?
I mean, I did not like what I saw from Tillery last season.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's almost playing the wrong position. I don't think we should put him at D tackle. I think they already tried it and it didn't really work out. But I feel like they should really try to focus this season, just making him like outside DN because I feel like he has the build for that. Not really like a run stopper. But yeah, if it was up to me, I'd put Morgan Fox over Jerry Tillery.
Okay, interesting. All righty, very, very interesting. We'll see what happens. I'll believe Jerry Tillery is not the starter when I see it. I do still think it is him, but we'll see. I'd love to be surprised. Okay, we'll finish with something a little bit easier here. I think maybe it's the most challenging thing. That's a record prediction. So, Austin, I'll start with you. What do you think the Chargers are going to do this year? And also, how have you guys handled the switch from 16 games to 17 games? Because when it comes to record predictions, I absolutely cannot remember that it should be like 9-8 or 6-11 or whatever.
No, I think it's so weird. Like thinking about I wrote down like 11-5, 12-4. I was like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to like look back and all that stuff. But I do think the Chargers are gonna have a couple, like moments, those games where just like you should win. Just like last year, it was like one of the Broncos games, the first Broncos game, the Vikings game, the last. I still think we should have beat the Raiders, but at the last one, and then obviously the Texans, biggest one. Those are 4 huge losses, and like even the Cowboys early in the season, I still think we could have like won that game. And I think we're gonna have a couple of those moments, but I think for the most part, we're very much better where we are now than a year ago. But so I'm going to go 11-6 and 12-5 for this year.
Well, you got to pick one. I'm going to hold it.
Okay. So if I had to pick one, 12-5, I think I'll give us the benefit of the doubt.
I like it. Victor, what about you?
Yeah. So I feel like definitely our ceiling, I feel like if like they ball out or whatever, I honestly think it could be undefeated or like around 15-2. That's the ceiling. But realistically, like, Austin was saying, I mean, it's the Chargers. We've all been fans for a while, and we know we have those games. So I think 13-4. So I'm gonna go one more win above.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Very optimistic.
I think we do well, but I definitely think we're gonna have like a game or two where we're just like, why did we lose that? How?
Yeah. That's I can almost bet on that happening at some point. All right, Nate, are you going 14-3?
No, I'm going 17. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going 11-6. I don't want my heart broken, so I'm trying to be like realistic on the lower side of it. So I think we're gonna drop one against each divisional opponent. We're gonna split with all of them, and we're gonna lose against the 49ers. I just feel like they're gonna. Yeah. That's just a team that seems like a trap game. They're good, but they're not that good. The Rams, obviously, and Titans, the Colts, all of those teams are really good run teams. And, our run defense last year don't give you much hope this year, but hopefully with the improvement, it'll be a good test for us, especially down in December. And we're going to be like at the Titans. Like that doesn't sound like fun for anybody, but I have us going 11-6 and we can still make the playoffs. I mean, that's once you're in the playoffs, it doesn't really matter what your record is. So, but
that's really the thing. The Chargers make it, then who cares at that point? Like just make it in. You might have to play one more game, but otherwise, I think that's the most important thing this year. And they need to. They have to make the playoffs or someone's going to get fired. All right, so we have 11-6, 12-5, 13-4. one of you guys hopefully is right. I like that the floor here is 11-6. I lied about that being the last thing, though. We do have one more thing, and that's just to figure out which one of you is a better fan or more paying attention fan. So a quick mini bit of Chargers trivia here. Just asking that who was the this or that for a particular year. Try not to cheat. Try not to Google this. Yeah, we'll see. I trust you guys to do the right thing. So who wants to go first? And if you get
I'll
it
go.
wrong, who's going first? Nate?
I'll go.
Okay. So if you get it wrong, I'm going to remove you from the stream, but I'll add you back in at the end. This will be like around the horn. Okay,
right.
So you get to go first. You get the easy one. Who is the 2020 passing leader for the Chargers?
Justin Herbert.
Okay, that's easy. So you got the easy one. You got to go first. Good for you.
I was like,
Okay.
That's
Almost got you though. Austin, who was the 2020 rushing leader?
Eckler.
Okay. Victor, who is the receiving leader?
Mike Williams, right?
Bye.
Oh, damn.
So-
Damn.
that's my guy right there.
Scared me. I was like, was Melvin Gordon on that team or not?
I answered for 2021, and I realized he's talking about
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to do it too soon too. Okay. Victor, I'll bring you back in. Victor, can you hear us while you're sitting out? Can you even hear us? Yeah, I think you can hear us. Okay, well, you're just hanging there for a bit. Okay, Nate, you're up next. Who was the 2020 tackles leader?
2020 tackles leader was. Ooh, hold on. Give me a second on this one. It was Kenneth Murray. Yeah, Kenneth Murray.
That is correct. Okay.
My keyboard's
Oh,
loud. All right,
oh
that's
my
all I'm
God.
saying. My keyboard's loud.
Wow, that was a good one. That's a good one. I wouldn't have said that.
My instinct would have been Derwin James for sure.
That would have going to be mine too.
Yeah. Okay. This is a bit more difficult.
right,
Let's
get
move to
it.
2019 for a little bit more fun. Because I feel like I might eliminate
All
you
right.
with the 2020
All
intercept.
right.
All right, so 2019. Who was the leading passer?
Rivers.
Yeah, it's easy. Nate,
Okay,
who was the
scared
leading
me. I was like,
rusher
wait,
in
what?
2019?
2019 leading rusher was. I know it was really close between Eckler and Gordon. I'm gonna go with Melvin Gordon.
That's correct. Okay,
Oh, good
Austin,
one.
leading
All right.
receiver in 2019.
Oh God. I feel like I'm making this way too much harder, or way harder than it is. Because I almost said Tyrell for a second. Was that the year that Keenan was hurt?
I don't know.
Oh my God. I'll go Keenan.
You are correct. You are making that
Ooh,
far
let's
too
go.
difficult for yourself.
Yeah.
I was like,
I
Peter
was
Gates.
psyching myself out there.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one. So if one of you gets the next one wrong, then the other person has to get it right to win. So here we go.
Okay.
Nate, who was the leading interceptions player for the Chargers in 2019?
In 2019, that was the year where Darwin was hurt, and then did we get picks that year? I don't think so. Like, we haven't had a good interception team in a while. I'm
No.
gonna go with okay, Nazir wasn't there. Was a rookie. I'm gonna go with Casey Hayward.
Bye.
Oh.
So Austin has to get this one right. He's got to get this one right here. Here we go.
Okay. All right.
Who was their leading tackler in 2019?
Oh no. that was the year that Derwin was hurt. Oh no. K9 was hurt. Or he wasn't there, if I'm mistaken. God. I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm really tempted to go. I'm not gonna go Boza. There's a lot of pressure right here.
There's a
I'm
lot
gonna
of pressure right
go.
here.
Oh my God.
5, 4,
Let's go. Just Boza.
3.
Why not?
Nope. Oh my
Nope.
goodness. I got to bring everybody back for this
All
one.
right.
So-
I know it. I know it.
okay, we'll switch it up. Who was the leading interceptions leader in 2019? Somebody shout it. Anybody?
Rashawn Jenkins.
Michael Davis.
I pushed that name.
Michael Davis.
Yeah.
Rashawn Jenkins.
Yeah,
Michael
Nate
Davis.
is right. It is Rashawn Jenkins.
Oh,
You're
what?
all yes, 2019. The leading interceptions guy
Oh,
was
damn.
Rashawn Jenkins with like 3 or something.
Oh,
Woohoo!
yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for jumping on and doing this. You guys came really prepared. I really appreciate all your answers. I learned something just listening to you guys. You guys are awesome at this. For those that are listening and those who are watching, none of the 4 of us have met before. And not even just me meeting them. I mean, like these 3 guys who got this together have not met before. So they handled this really, really well. I'm super impressed. Victor, I'll start with you, man. What are you up to these days? What's your life goals? Where can we find you on Twitter if you want to mention that?
Yeah, so right now I'm in college. I'm gonna become a sophomore this upcoming year. I go to Seton Hall University. I'm currently in like studying journalism, broadcasting, so all sports and stuff like that. And yeah, that's the dream. Just do some. I want to do something in sports. You know what I mean? And you can find me on Twitter. Well, my fan account is Victor G, 3224. But my professional account, I guess you could call it, is Victor Gonz, Gonz 24.
Sounds good. Nate, what are your life goals, man? What are you up to these days? What's your favorite color or whatever? What's your social security number?
No, okay. So I got my first job. I've been working 30, 40 hours a week. AMC theaters, new Minions
Right
movie
on.
came out. A lot of kids are spilling their popcorn. It's great. But
Sweet.
I've been working there, and then I'm going to my freshman year of Chaffey College for sports journalism. I'm going to focus on that and see where that takes me. The dream is to be some sort of journalist or anything in football, honestly. Like, I'll be cool scouting, anything. I know that's a lot of time, but my favorite color is green. Thank you for asking. And
Good to know.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited for this season.
Yeah, well, the correct answer was blue and gold. No, I'm kidding. Austin, man, what's up with you? What are you doing? What are you up to? Where can we find you on social media?
I have my Twitter handle right there. But I am going to be a sophomore, just going to a little community college here near Kansas City. And then hopefully the goal is to go to KU. College basketball is my first love. So obviously KU, I live right next to it. It's a match made in heaven for me. So my family always been huge into sports. I mean, my family works in sports, so I feel like I love it more than anything. Would love to go. I'm going to go into sports journalism, broadcasting, marketing even. I would love to work for like the Chargers social. I feel like they're the best in the world.
They are.
So why would you not want to be a part of that? And yeah, my favorite color is blue or purple.
Very nice. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. People that are listening and watching, go follow them on social media. Go follow them on Twitter. I don't know when I'll ever have you guys back on, but you guys did an awesome job, and I would love to have you guys back on.